In 1982, GM found itself in a precarious position. Its Fremont, California plant was notorious, but for the wrong reasons. It was considered the worst performing in all of America. Matters didn't improve when Rick Madrid and all his colleagues were laid off that same year. Many thought it was the end of the line for that plant. However, in '84, a turnaround emerged. GM, seeking a fresh start, conceived the idea of reopening the factory, but not alone. It joined forces with another automotive giant. The condition? Rehire 80% of the workers who had been laid off previously. And the most surprising part? This partner was none other than Toyota, the company that had transformed the way cars were produced globally. The road ahead seemed challenging, but the partnership promised potential. Chapter 1. In the 70s, Toyota emerged as a powerhouse in the automotive industry, synonymous with efficiency and innovation. But did it have the capacity to manage one of the most challenging workforces in the United States? To understand the magnitude of this challenge, we must introduce Rick Madrid. He was a veteran of the golden era of GM's Fremont factory. Rick, in his activities, left occasional surprises in the cars, juice cups mixed with vodka. It was a kind of underground amusement. But interestingly, compared to others, Rick was almost a saint. When he learned about the factory's reopening, Rick had hope. He envisioned a change, a synergy between GM and Toyota. Both companies had something to learn and gain from this union. Toyota, however, was about to face an unprecedented challenge since the 40s. The crux of the problem was a deep cultural difference. Rick and his colleagues, representing the average American worker, often did the bare minimum. Passion for quality and autonomy were almost non-existent. On the other side of the ocean, the Japanese worker had an almost opposite approach. They were trained to pursue perfection. Suggesting improvements and stopping production to correct flaws were common practices. Toyota had a long tradition of valuing discipline, precision, and swift correction. The origin of this culture dates back to 19th century Japan. After almost 2 centuries of isolation, the country sought modernization and industrialization. In this scenario, Sakichi Toyoda and his family worked in the weaving industry, a sector that resisted change for a century. Sakichi, a visionary, saw an opportunity. He developed machines that revolutionized the industry, initially doubling productivity. But with speed came challenges. Detecting errors in accelerated processes became a battle. The most significant adversity was broken threads. A broken thread could ruin an entire fabric. At the time, this meant enormous losses. The common solution was to have constant inspectors. But Sakichi, always innovative, in 1890 proposed a solution that eliminated the error and, consequently, freed humans from this monotonous task. This wasn't just about productivity. It was a philosophy. Even then, Sakichi understood that machines should handle repetitive tasks, freeing humans to add value in other ways. This philosophy continued to be the cornerstone of Toyota, even as it transitioned to producing cars. Workers had the power and autonomy to halt an entire production line if they spotted an error. A simple system, comparable to pulling a cord on a bus, became its signature. Today, as we witness giants like Tesla, led by Elon Musk, betting on full automation, Toyota still advocates for a balance. For them, machines are essential, but human touch, discernment, and talent are irreplaceable. In summary, while the history of Toyota and its production system is fascinating, the real test has always been adaptability. Whether in integrating cultures or in the synergy between man and machine, Toyota seeks excellence. And this pursuit, as shown, stems from deep roots and a vision that, even ancient, proves relevant to this day. Chapter 2. With its unique methodology, Toyota gained prominence in Japan. This meticulous and well-thought-out production model made it a leader in its home country. However, although it dominated the Japanese market in the 60s, the Asian automotive market didn't come close to the size and complexity of North America. Faced with this scenario, Toyota decided to expand its horizons. Its target? The United States. A thriving economy that valued robust and fast cars. The company's first attempt, however, was less than ideal. The introduced car model didn't align with the needs of Americans. It was incompatible with their roads and displeased the general public. This initial error cost dearly. The impact was so negative that several cars sold required recalls. They had to be sent back to Japan for adjustments and improvements. But instead of seeing this situation as a defeat, Toyota saw it as a learning opportunity. When the 70s arrived, the game changed. Toyota was already the second best-selling brand in the United States, surpassed only by Volkswagen. A global situation, the 1973 oil embargo, caused an energy crisis. Gasoline became a scarce and expensive commodity. This scenario made Americans look for smaller and more economical cars. Toyota realized this and saw a niche. With the success of its sales, the desire to establish a factory in the United States emerged. But there was uncertainty. Could Toyota's deeply rooted and specific culture be taught and adopted by American workers? The strategy found was to form a partnership, a joint venture with GM, a local automotive giant. The chosen location was the Fremont plant, which was vacant. Challengingly, they decided to rehire 80% of the former workers, previously labeled as part of one of the worst groups of workers in the country. This partnership had the potential to be beneficial for both. GM would learn the efficiency of the Toyota model, and Toyota would have the chance to establish its production on American soil. If this union showed positive results, it would be the definitive proof of the effectiveness and adaptability of Toyota's production model. The result was surprising. The Fremont plant, once viewed unfavorably, transformed. It became an example of efficiency and productivity. It demonstrated that the Toyota methodology was not just for the Japanese. It was, indeed, universal. Adjustable to different cultures and types of workers. The plant received a new name, NUMMI. This factory became an inspiration for writers and researchers. In the book The Machine That Changed the World, its efficiency is highlighted. While other GM factories took 31 hours to assemble a car, NUMMI did the same job in just 19 hours. And most impressively, with 80% less inventory. Chapter 3. In 1 year, NUMMI achieved productivity levels comparable to the best factories in Japan. Toyota saw that more was possible. It expanded into North America, and its cars became a benchmark for quality. The brand grew, even threatening GM's position. In the 80s, it introduced Lexus, its luxury division, to the world. By the 90s, it was strengthening its presence in the United States. In summary, Toyota, with resilience and adaptability, showed that it was possible to cross borders and reinvent itself. Chapter 3. In 2008, the economic landscape changed drastically. Suddenly, the flow of credit froze. This was a severe blow to various sectors, including the automotive industry. With the credit reduction, car sales significantly slowed down. Those who could afford to buy a car outright chose not to, as they were unsure about what the future held. Besides this uncertainty, there was an aggravating factor: the price of gasoline. It soared, making many rethink their preferences. For years, Americans were known for their love of large and powerful vehicles. Now, however, that love was being put to the test. Toyota, on the other hand, had something to offer. It was an established brand, known for its smaller and more economical vehicles. It also had in its lineup the Prius Hybrid, a significant advancement in fuel efficiency. However, even with these cars in the forefront, Toyota suffered. In 2009, the company reported its first year of losses, something surprising for a giant of this caliber. The amount? $4 billion in the negative. On the other hand, there were companies like Ford and GM. Both heavily relied on their large cars, the famous SUVs and trucks. In the previous year, 2008, these companies already felt the weight of the crisis. The losses were monumental. GM, for example, reported a loss of $39 billion. And what was behind these numbers? The news at the time was revealing. It pointed out that companies like GM, Ford, and Chrysler faced serious quality issues. Additionally, there was a noticeable resistance to adapting to new demands. Unlike Toyota, which always showed an interest in innovation, these companies seemed stagnant. And who was responsible for this stagnation? The answer was simple: the companies themselves. The situation was dire. It was so severe that the government had to intervene. With taxpayer money, a process of rescuing these companies began. A fact that surprised many was that even Toyota, known for its efficiency, had to seek help. What differentiated them was the amount. While GM requested $51 billion, Toyota asked the Japanese government only $42 billion. A characteristic always associated with Toyota is continuous improvement. It saw the crisis as an opportunity to reinvent itself. It did not change its basic principles but adjusted more assertively. It emphasized even more investment in people, encouraging a cost-cutting culture without compromising quality and productivity. The path was challenging. Many Toyota employees suffered salary cuts, exceeding 10%. Top executives had even greater reductions, reaching 30%, and bonuses were canceled. However, these drastic measures bore fruit. In the third quarter of 2009, the company was already returning to profit. It seemed that the storm was passing. However, in August of 2009, a tragedy shocked everyone. The Settles family, in a Toyota car, experienced a fatal accident. Speculations quickly arose, suggesting that a defect in the brand's cars caused unintended acceleration. The situation demanded a response, and Toyota delivered. The focus was on reinforcing safety and communication with customers. Transparency was a key word at this moment. It was crucial that customers knew they were being heard, and the company was taking all possible measures to ensure their safety. The results of these efforts were visible. By March of 2010, Toyota's market share was already approaching 17%. The brand's vehicles also began to be recognized for their reliability. They dominated lists of the most reliable cars and were awarded for their safety. Over time, Toyota regained its position and even strengthened its image. The Camry, for example, maintained its title as the best-selling car in the U.S. since 2002. Today, the Toyota brand is synonymous with durability, reliability, and low maintenance costs. In a constantly changing world, with new business models and growing ecological awareness, Toyota has shown its ability to adapt, proving that it is possible to evolve without losing its essence. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel, activating notifications because I post new videos every day. I'll see you in the next one.